I grew up in a Christian home, very godly, good parents, and when I was a teenager, I went through a lot, and I think as any teenager does, they struggle through different things and hurts that I had gone through, and I ended up getting involved in a very abusive relationship. Kind of couldn't believe it myself, and looking back on it, doesn't feel real. But it was hard on my parents, it was hard on my family to see me end up there. And even for myself, I mean, I never denied God while I was in that situation, but I was so far from Him. I remember coming to this place where I almost had like a prodigal son type moment. And I looked around where I was at and I was like, what am I doing here? And I remember crying out to God and asking Him to take me out from where I was. And at that time, He did. He did. It was swift and it was quick. And I wish I could say at that moment, like everything just miraculously turned around. And in many ways it did. I was back with my family. I was back with my mom and dad. I was in a very loving home again. But I hadn't forgiven myself. I struggled because my whole life, I wanted to please God. And now here I was in a place that I felt so like I had messed up, past a point that could be redeemed. So I had been praying and asking God to help me. And I remember I would go to karaoke with my family. And we really would, just kind of go as be a family night together. We'd all go and sing together, my brothers and sisters. And one night it was New Year's Eve, and I remember asking God. I said, if I can use my voice at karaoke, then I could use my voice for You. And so I prayed, and I said, God, if You open a door, I'll go through it. So not even within 2 weeks, and I at the time I wasn't attending church like regularly. I was coming and going, and told you I was beating myself up more than anybody even at church would. Janet Goins came in, which she was the worship pastor at the time and a pastor's wife. And she said, you're going to think I'm crazy, because she was there for dinner. She said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but you've been on my heart for the past 2 weeks. Your sister told me that you sing, and I don't know if you'd be willing to come to rehearsal. And I said, yes, because I knew I'd heard from God, because at that point I had already prayed for this, And so I was like, okay, I'll go. And I went to rehearsal, and she said, I just want you to rehearse with us for the next few weeks, just kind of show you can be faithful. I said, no problem. She went up to sing a solo. Sorry if I cry. And when she went up to sing, she came back down and she said, you have to sing now. You're singing this weekend. And what that did for me, it showed me God's grace, because at that moment, I realized it wasn't about me cleaning myself up. I thought I had to clean myself up before I could be used, before God could do whatever He was going to do with me. And it just showed me, God says to come. He'll clean up what needs to go. He'll take off the layers. But if we'll come and we'll just lay it before Him, He'll take away what needs to go. And He will get us where we need to be with Him. So that honestly changed my life, because I realized what grace is. I realized what mercy is. And I've never looked back since. That Caleb was probably, I would say, maybe 3 months old. And I've been singing since, because I know where God took me from. And that's never far from me. When I sing, whenever I sing, it's never far from me. So I'm very thankful for grace that's undeserved.